Do or do not. There is no try tonight. With the tank in full force for the last time until playoffs, can Athens keep in control their destiny, or will the Sentinels join this dark side of the Snakes? Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to a galaxy not so far away. Akins Ford Arena in Athens, Georgia. Just one last home game in the tank for the regular season, and we're anticipating a sold-out crowd. If you couldn't make it in the building, we are very appreciative of you tuning in here with us on the ARL Network. As always, my name is Matt Rad, and we're coming at you live on YouTube and Sporfy as the Athens Rock Lobsters close out their home slate against the Indiana Sentinels. Before we get to the hockey, let's tell you everything you need to know. The Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show starts right here and right now. It was a crucial win for the Rock Lobsters, but maybe it wasn't as comfortable as they hoped it would be, as the Sentinels just wouldn't seem to go away last night. In fact, Indiana had the belief they struck first, but a high stick wiped Filip Tomacek's goal off the board after review. Athens then took advantage as Joe Mack buried a slick feed from Dustin Perlat to open the scoring with his 23rd of the season. The second period turned into a back-and-forth affair. After an injury forced a goaltending change for Indiana, Luke Croucher welcomed Cooper Olsen with a bar-down backhand on his first shot faced. The teams then traded punches in a chaotic stretch. Corey Cunningham scored on a wraparound only for John Calchin to answer less than a minute later. Cunningham again struck again soon after, beating Matt Sales 5-hole for his second in quick succession. Athens responded on the power play as Carter Shinkarik's shot deflected home to keep the Lobsters in front. Indiana made one final push early in the third, with Jonas Lees crashing the crease to cut the deficit to one. But Athens had the answer. Jonathan Bartuccio Pereira netted his first as a Rock Lobster to restore the two-goal cushion, and the host shut the door from there. The Sentinels pulled Olsen late but couldn't complete the comeback as Athens rode out a 5-3 win. The traditional opening credit roll here to start what is hopefully a movie tonight in front of a sold-out theater in Akins Ford Arena. Let's take a look at the Continental Division standings. Monroe was able to close out a tight game itself against the Columbus River Dragons last night and kept the gap at 4 points, and that keeps things interesting in the Continental Division. Athens, though, has officially eclipsed its season point tally of 118 points from last season. All the personnel remains the same for Garrett Rutledge, but the opening shift will look slightly different. Let's take a look at our Akins Ford engine starters as the Rock Lobsters make their way onto the ice with their special Star Wars jerseys. Matt Sales will stay between the pipes with Devin Maye and Michael Greco in front of him. The forwards will be Malik the Marvel and John Calgin with Joe Mack in the middle. Not much other movement besides that, as the lines have remained the same from last night. The starting lineup is brought to you by Akins Ford. If you need a pickup to your day, week, month, or year, come make a deal for a pickup truck at the biggest and best Ford dealership in the Peach State, Akins Ford. This is it for Athens and Akins for the regular season. Let's close this second movie of the trilogy outright. That does it for our Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here. John Calgin, a part of the starting lineup tonight. He was able to add on to his season tally with a goal and an assist. How about the cheers for the Marvel? Two of those cheers also belonging to the parents of Malik Johnson. The local boy, Matt Sales, out of Milton, Georgia. Rock Lobsters joined by kid captain Michael Barber. Let's send it down to the ice for the pregame ceremony, and may the force be with you. One of my favorite anthem singers over the past couple of seasons. For Star Wars night, we welcome Star Phipps, who sang the national anthem there. We've got a special puck drop for you, a couple of them. Rather just one. We've got a very special guest. It looks like he's getting ready here in the corner. The mastermind that makes everything so visually stunning for the Athens Rock Lobsters brings that extra special flair to this team. And it's his organization, Ghost Brands, who is sponsoring Star Wars Night tonight. Britton Briley, CEO of the organization, joining us, and he will drop the ceremonial puck. They're in between Blake Peavy and Carter Shinkarik. Britton has been such a huge, huge help to me. And how about this? A special message from the production staff. Let's play hockey for the first time this season. Some people who stay behind the scenes a lot of times and don't get always the credit they deserve. A big, big thank you to those of our game day production team. And a special shout out as well to Sarah Oliva, game day operations and production manager, celebrating her birthday today. But now it's time for hockey in the tank. 20 minutes on the clock for the first period. Matt Sales, a rare back-to-back start for him. And we are underway for Star Wars night. You may have heard of May the 4th be with you. Today it's April the 4th be with you. Doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way, but no regular season games scheduled for May the 4th, unfortunately. Hopefully there will be some playoff games, though. Joe Mack, surrounded by Sentinels there. Little redirect there from John Calgin on the shot initially from Michael Greco. Put back around. Johnson through Calgin. Lifted towards center ice. Maye has his sights on it. Took a bump there from Bodan Zinchenko. Calgin. A goal and an assist for him last night. Almost picks out the corner there. Carter Shinkarik fresh out on the sheet for his first shift. Greco, that one was heading towards the crease. Sticked away by Matt Sales. Captain Fantastic was leading the charge. The shot from distance. It almost finds a way in. It's on the roof of the net. Where's the puck? It doesn't go in. My goodness gracious, what an awkward knuckler that approached Sales from the blue line. It went onto the top of the net, trickled back down, but did it ever make its way past the goal line? The Sentinels did not get on the good end of a video review in the first period of last night's game. Let's take another look here, courtesy of Classic City Orthodontics. It's so close there to the first goal in the career of Donovan Powell. Matt Sales stops it with the blocker, and it took an interesting trajectory after that. Athens, though, able to keep the scoreline for right now at 0-0. Here's Shinkarik, chased down by a close range at Corey Cunningham, who had a part in all three Indiana goals last night in the 5-3 loss for the Sentinels. Lowell just about able to get it to Kolatarsi. Off the end boards to his captain, Carter Shinkarik. Ford to Lowell, back to Ford, makes the extra pass. Neely at the tightest of angles, unable to get it on the goal frame. Swatted away from Shinkarik. Ford puts it up the wall. Jesse Lowell protecting so good with his back to the defensive pressure, but it's given away to Donovan Powell. Would have been an interesting way to score your first pro goal, but Donovan Powell, still in his second game as a collegiate signing out of D3 Buffalo State, was very, very impressed with his first game as a professional last night. Didn't really let the opportunity to make an impression get in the way. Didn't let it fear him at all. As for the goaltending situation for the Sentinels, we saw Chris Kerr leave the game due to injury. in last night's game, and now John Werber is back with the Sentinels. He was playing in the SPHL. Leifers, Virgili, off a Sentinel stick, gloves it down. Cole Willett. Back to Powell, who's still on the ice. His pass gets through Brendan Bauer, who's back in the lineup after missing out in the Friday contest. Leifers with a touch and nothing more. Panavinov. Sentinels enter in on the left side. A mishandle might pay off. A no-look shot there by Max Tortorella, and Sales able to squeeze the quads together. People still entering their seats here at Akins Ford Arena. It was an announced sellout. Take a look here. It's Max Tortorella. He's also back in the lineup. Didn't really have the chance to look before shooting. And luckily, Matt Sales was able to follow the shot. Some guy next to me thinks that I'm trying to have a conversation with him. But there's a couple of conversations that are happening on the ice. Some of the officials have gone over to the Indiana bench here. And Everett Thompson is in conversation. Everett Thompson, of course, head coach experience with the Baton Rouge Zydeco last season. Started the year as an assistant with the Monroe Moccasins. And now the officials going over to talk with Garrett Rutledge. Garrett Rutledge in the all-black tonight, sporting the Darth Vader look with all of his stormtroopers in front of him. Seems like it was just based on face-off location there. Face-off win in the offensive zone. Bormanis, but Athens able to get it back in the middle ice. Greco through skates and sticks to Malik Johnson on the left side of the point. Joe Mack trying to free up space on the forecheck. Greco up the wall with a touch on Bormanis. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Only option for Zinchenko was the short angle. Matt Sales was hugging the post. Athens trying to work it out of their own corner on the far side. Zinchenko, still Zinchenko. Michael Greco scanning, finding Malik Johnson. Swats it down. It's going to be icing against Athens. Rock Lobster still looking for their first shot on net in this game. According to our score strip here, the Sentinels have 3 on the night. Line's been talking with Malik Johnson there. I'm wondering if it's about kind of creeping into the circle. Malik Johnson readjusts, and Joe Mack wins the draw. This one is straight at Werber here, and he'll cover up. Effectively the first shot on net for Athens in this game. Might be a chance for more here as they'll have a face-off to the left of John Werber, 24-year-old out of Skillman, New Jersey. Was good in his last start, which came on March 14th against the Topeka Scarecrows. Stopped 39 of 41. Low with a redirect, took it just wide. Gus Ford wearing number 21 tonight. Corey Cunningham. He was the man to watch for the Sentinels last night. Looked like Sales had lost track of it as Richard Colarusso spun a shot in from the net front. Eric Neely, a big contributor all season long, but especially since his return from the SPHL. 10 points, 6 goals, 4 assists in his 7 games since returning from Macon. Carter Shinkarik cuts one down center ice. Here is Neely. Headed down there by Werber. I think they're checking the helmet here of Werber as something may have got shaken loose by Neely's shot. I'm wondering if Werber drove in just for this game, was not on the roster yesterday. Shinkarik with a laser, blockered away by Werber. Kolatarski looking for an option. Here's Ford. Tried to complete the pretty move there past Ponovinov, and the big headline recently, Ford still trying to track down goal number 200 of his FPHL career. Too much on that one. Lowell able to get some twig on it. Leifer's smelling blood in the water. Leaves a hit on Ponovinov. A little bit of paint transfer there in the back of the Russian. He himself standing at 6'1", but Leifer's at 6'5", has a lot of body to throw around. Bartuccio Pereira scored his first as a Lobster last night. He almost gets an assist early on for Croucher. Giveaway by Athens. Paralat straight into the path of Max Tortorella. Bartuccio Pereira to Paralat, 2 left-handed defensemen on this pair. Nice hit there by Leifers. Possession back with Athens after Zinchenko goes down to the ice. Paralat and Bartuccio Pereira, 2 great puck-moving defensemen. Leifers waiting for someone to come to the net. Ends up having to pass to the point. Mai from the left side of the blue line. That one could have gone anywhere. I think it might have trickled off of Luke Croucher's stick. Werber watches it wide. Maye reloads. Gets in between the legs there of Werber, and he'll just squeeze all those muscles to stop the clock at 13:37, and that sends us to our first commercial timeout. Still no score here. It's Indiana nothing, Athens nothing.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Kevin Sawyer's watching all the way from Western Kentucky. A special shout out to his mother and father-in-law, Ricky and Tony. We hope that all 3 of you are watching the game and enjoying the show thus far, but Athens still looking for its first goal. Let's see if they can wave the saber and get one past Werber with an offensive zone face-off here. Joe Mack's going to be on the draw, and I feel like he's had an extra bit of confidence since his loan to the ECHL with the Atlanta Gladiators. Wins against Jonas Lease, who scored the last goal for the Sentinels in the 5-3 loss. Calgin steps on the brakes, absorbed in the midsection by John Werber. Michael Greco, so often at the center of everything physical for the Rock Lobsters, and he got in a couple entanglements last night with Donovan Powell. With Powell, it being his first professional game, maybe he doesn't know a lot about Michael Greco. So he may not know that Greco's not exactly that guy that you want to mess with. Kristers Bormanis, the Latvian, trying to chase his own dump in. Joe Mack using the cut to the crease by Johnson to his advantage and hoping to make the shot trickier to save for Werber, but he is equal to it. Not many open seats here in the building as you take a look around. Gus Ford and Zinchenko on the dot to the left here of Werber. Bormana sends it long. Colatarsi got through him. Brendan Bauer with fresh legs. He was out of the game last night and sets up a beauty of a shot. Zach Ross draws the arrow back and shoots one into the shell of the Lobsters. It's the Sentinels who draw first blood. Starts Colatarsi, sprawls out to try to get anything on that one. Bauer follows it the whole way. It looked like Sales was preoccupied with some presence that was on that other post. Looked like he lost track of the puck there. And the shot finds its way behind the Athens netminder. Sentinels thought they had the lead last night. Advantage ultimately they never had, but they have a lead in this game. This one's going to count. There might be another one to count here onto the backhand, but it doesn't go. Noah Hippolyte-Smith driving the net of Sales. Bartuccio Pereira eventually able to get the puck away, cut out by the goal scorer Zachary Ross. Ross just his third of the year. Single-digit stats all around for the Sentinels. Virgili. Good job there on the forecheck. Leafers with two around him. Croucher. Paralat off the end boards. I think he was hoping to get back to the welcome mat. Croucher gets taken down. Bartuccio Pereira, rather Dustin Paralat. Not exactly a 2-on-1 here, but crashing the net and almost scoring was the man in just his second goal, then snapped from a tight angle. Colarusso on the rebound, but Donovan Powell so close to scoring that first pro goal of his career. Joe Mack, little dipsy dangle. Almost sets up a beauty of a highlight reel goal for Joe Mack. Icing is the call on the ice. Zinchenko and Devin Maye in the foot race. Let's take another look here. That nice little move by Joe Mack to get to the left circle. Wasn't really any passing options as Calgin got there late. Mack could only shoot. Would have been a tremendous effort to find the twine, and Athens still looking to get their first goal of the night to tie this game up now. Greco able to settle it. Stopped by an official in the corner. Johnson tilts one back. Greco off a stick and into the nylon above the glass. The first lead that the Indiana Sentinels have had against the Rock Lobsters all season long. Reminder that Athens opened their season in Columbus, Indiana. And there is only 3 players that remain from that version of the Sentinels team. So it's a lot of personnel changes all around. Nolan Dawson, one of the point leaders for this Sentinels team. 23 points on the year for him, behind Cunningham and Zinchenko. Here's Kyle Powell with a shift. Calgin able to get it out of their territory. Sent back down, and Sales will recycle after a hopeful shot from the middle ice. Not a lot of mustard on that pass from Shinkarik. And a slapper there, and a twig that gets snapped in half. I believe it was Zinchenko there, and we're still playing. Johnson stops it at the half wall. Tries the backhand sweeper towards the slot. Calgin to Mack. Shinkarik getting up in the mix. Rims it around. Calgin back in behind. Actually, that's Eric Neely. Bartuccio Pereira to Neely. There's that wicked release. Wide by a whisker. Gus Ford to Bartuccio Pereira. Ford drawing a lot of attention, as he so often does. Neely, cross ice to Ford. Ease it to the right circle, and Perlat takes a bump from his teammate Johnson. Ford shoots, it's blocked in the slot. Sentinels starting to feel some more pressure from Athens. Bartuccio Pereira looked like he was looking for a tip from the stick. Sales is going to have to leave his crease here, as Perlat had a slip. Jesse Lowell for Ford. Ford wraps it around. Lowell to the loose puck. Putting his body on the line was Tomacek. Great block shot by the man out of Czechia. Icing against Indiana sends us to the commercial timeout. Zachary Ross with the first goal coming exactly 7 minutes into the contest, and now Athens chasing the game from a short distance. It's Indiana 1, Athens nothing.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Nothing Indiana here. Shots are even at 8 apiece, but I don't feel like there's been a whole ton of sting from the shots that Athens has put on Werber thus far. Leifers is going to take the face-off here. Croucher took a lot of them last night. Leifers wins it, but too much on it, as Michael Greco has to field it all the way back in his own ice. Leifers tracked down by Maye. Leifers and Maye, longtime teammates from different programs and college in France. Greco to Croucher. Helped on its way to Virgili. Greco's there in the corner. Thought I could hear Leifers call out for the pass. Through the neutral ice, Devin Maye stomps on the brakes. Virgili to Leifers. Leifers through Peavy. Leifers centers it. Skimmed through the crease by the Grecking ball. Kept in by Shinkarik for Geely. Leifer's buzzing around the ice. He's going to go off for the change. Pops out for Croucher. Great creation there from Luke Croucher. Wasn't a lot left for the rookie to do and just was able to carousel it to the crease. Joe Mack looking for Johnson at the back door. Johnson in the trapezoid in behind. Got out to the front of the net. Now he has to go get his twig. Nice little move from Cunningham for him. Backhand, saved by Sales. Corey Cunningham showing his worth once again. And now there's a fight in behind as John Calgin has Cunningham wrapped up. Ended as more of a wrestling match between Calgin and Cunningham. And that brings the crowd to its feet. Inject a little bit more energy into this building. Looks like Cunningham and Calgin will both sit here. Let's take a look at how this all developed. It developed quickly. Sales with a good save there as Cunningham has been buzzing around the crease over this two-game set. Kind of just started as bear hugging between the two players. Looks like it'll be offsetting roughings for both, so we'll skate 4-on-4. John Calgin drawing cheers from the Akins Arena crowd once again after his second star performance in last night's game. A goal and an assist. Some more open ice here for especially someone like Gus Ford to get on the end of a slick pass to the net front. Neely, Lowell, Ford, and Paralat. Here's Ford. Paralat, Neely, so good at playmaking out of this half wall area. Spins around. Nice little move by Ford. Ford looking for the wraparound again. Can't shake himself free from the rookie Powell. Neely spins. Deals. Ford able to keep it in. Neely through the right circle. Still Neely here. Ford shoots! Ford scores! May the Ford be with you! It might only be his 11th goal as a Lobster, but it's his 200th in league history. Put it in the record books. Only the 6th player in FPHL history to score 200 goals. He's got the monkey off his back now. And our special congratulations to Gus Ford for scoring his 200th goal in the FPHL. Important for more reasons than one, or more reasons than 200. Athens has now tied this game up, and it came on the 4-on-4. Miscommunication there, it looked like between Shinkarik and Maye. Maye with a poke check, toe drag. Shinkarik is brought down. Terrain able to do enough. Crustacean Nation has questions on if there should be a penalty on the play. No look pass, Maye, back from Shinkarik. Picked up by Croucher, can't keep it in. Ford, his 38th of the season as well. He's 2 away from becoming a 4-time 40-goal scorer in this league. Greco Ticks it around his man. Rides the line with a pass to Shinkarik. Now both teams skating 5 aside. Shinkarik almost got there. Good recovery by Max Tortorella. Puck there to be won. And it will be by Bartuccio Pereira. Scored from this kind of distance in last night's game. Makes the pass to fellow Quebec native Malik Johnson. And there's the giveaway, unfortunately, to Cunningham. Lofted a slight pop in the infield, gloved by Matt Sales. We go back to the commercial timeout. Gus Ford has 200 to his name, and Athens has tied it up. It's Indiana 1, Athens 1.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
How do I get one of these lightsabers? Crowd enjoying Star Wars night here in the tank, and a lot of that came from the energy from that little tussle. It wasn't a full fight between Calgin and Cunningham. That injected a little bit more energy into the building, and then Gus Ford was able to capitalize with his 38th of the year and his 200th in his FPHL career. A big, big milestone for the Gus Station. And I think he's going to be able to play a little bit more freely now that he's logged that milestone as well. About 4 minutes left to play in this opening period. Sales reaches out, doesn't get anything on it. Powell, good poke check there at the half wall. Cross ice, Bartuccio Pereira trying to nudge it into his path. One off of Mac by Nolan Dawson. Onavinov sent in by Noah Hippolyte Smith. One-timer doesn't go for Tomacek. Puck pops up right there at the blue line. Nice little move there. Hippolyte Smith loses an edge as Leafers is right behind him. Athens has been a little bit loose on the border from the defensive ice to the neutral zone. But that's a loose touch there from Powell. Leafers gets hacked, and Athens goes to its first power play of the night. On the Paloma Park power play, if the Rock Lobsters score on the quadruple P, fans can unlock free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the Fan Saves app. They got one in last night's game. Carter Shinkarik with his signature slapper. Didn't take its usual trajectory, and there's the man right now. Can he get another to his name? He leads the Rock Lobsters in power play goals with 10 to his name. It's going to be Cola Russo who sits for slashing. Mac. Couple bites there, able to win it. Shinkarik, no surprise there. Looks for the shot, wide by a margin. Shinkarik, is he thinking about it again? Yes, he is. Where'd the puck go? Looks like it came off the body of Peavy. Peavy playing in his 200th FPHL game today. Like his head coach Everett Thompson, a former disciple of Garrett Rutledge. Athens get caught slightly there, overplaying the puck in their zone. Neely tries to go coast to coast, can't connect with Ford, sent back down. Minute 15 to go on Colarusso's penalty. Sitting 2 minutes for slashing. Penalty kill has been pretty good for the Sentinels over the past couple of games. Haven't exactly allowed Athens to set up shop a lot. Shinkarik fakes the one-timer. Tiptoes into the left circle. Puck loose out in front. Virgili thought he settled it, but couldn't cast a spell on it. And now Zinchenko, the Ukrainian, with a roll of the dice on the shorthand, goes bar down. The goal light comes on, but Zinchenko seems convinced himself that it did not go in. Would have been just shorthanded goal number 5 on the year for the Sentinels. And now here's Jesse Lowell on the zone entry. Can the Lobsters calm the nerves before they go down the tunnel for the first intermission? Through Lowell to Calgin. Maye, Calgin looking for the tip from Leafers, who's still on the hunt for his first goal since his debut. Sentinels able to kill the penalty here. Maye off the glass. I think that one came off a glove and goes into the Athens bench. The goal light came on there, and I wondered myself if it maybe hit the roof of the net. But Zinchenko never really seemed all that convinced. He immediately played on, and he probably had the best view of anyone. Everything even in this game. Shots at 10 apiece, 43 seconds to go in this first period. Latvian Christos Bormanis gets kicked out from the faceoff. And it's once again won by Joe Mack. Is there one last chance to carve out here for Athens? Johnson attempts to take it to the slot. Too many bodies in his way. Perlat to Bartuccio Pereira. Perlat walks that tightrope once again. Virgili in a lightsaber battle there. That's one out by Corey Cunningham. He can change speeds rather quickly. Look at Cunningham go. Still Cunningham. Backhand blockered away by Sales. Some pressure laid on from the Sentinels, but Rock Lobsters saved by the horn. Indiana having their first lead of the season against the Athens Rock Lobsters, but we will go into the first intermission tied up, and we'll show you how we got there. The opening credit roll, lightsabers in the building, and pumped up fans courtesy of Crustacean Nation as well. They have shown up in droves here for Star Wars night. And here was really where the momentum shifted. Athens was down. Calgin gets wrapped up with Cunningham there. And then Gus Ford able to tie it up with a history-making goal. The 6th player in FPHL history to do that feat. Tyler Jurich, Ahmed Mahfouz, Dalton J, Justin Browsen, and Johnny Ruiz. Ford joins the 200 club in the FPHL. He got to the 199 mark after a hat trick against his former team in his former home building against the Twin City Thunderbirds last Friday. It was another performance against his former team, in which he's been a little bit of a Thunderbird killer since returning to Winston-Salem against the Thunderbirds. And, of course, that was a topic of conversation between me and head coach Garrett Rutledge in this week's Coach's Corner. If you're new to the show, we always bring it to you during the first intermission. We hope you enjoy it. Hosted by me, Mateen Rad. Coach's Corner with head coach Garrett Rutledge. Hey there, Crustacean Nation. Welcome back to Coach's Corner on the ARL Network. It's your inside look to everything happening on and off the ice for the Rock Lobsters. And as always, I'm your host, Mateen Rad, and I'm joined by Athens head coach Garrett Rutledge. Rutsy, let me take you back all the way back to Friday, which again feels like an age ago now. We started a busy spell of 4 games in 5 days with our most definitive win of the set, a 6-2 victory in Twin City. It all started very quickly, to say the least, just 12 seconds into the contest. Joe Mack to Philip Virgili to Eric Neely. They connect perfectly, scored the fastest goal in Rock Lobster history at 12 seconds. I feel like you're going to answer this question with an answer like, you put the puck in the back of the net. But in your coach's mind, how does a goal that fast happen?
I just think execution. Boys come out ready to play. We have certain hitting points that we have on the ice that we're trying to do. And it was just tic-tac-toe, bang, bang. It's how fast our team can score. I actually was still getting a drink of water. I think I turned around, it went in the net. I was like, okay, here we go. So then they scored shortly after. Once they come off again, I was like, really? You didn't score again? Like, what's going on? Even the next night, I was like, really? We didn't score in the first 12 seconds? What are we doing here, guys? So, no, it was fun. It's good for the boys to get off to a start like that. But sometimes as a coach, you don't want that because it's like guys start sniffing for points and think it's going to be an absolute blowout, and then it ends up being a hockey game. So it was good. You can't complain. Goals are goals, right?
You're right. And you're also right in that it initially looked like it was going to be an easy night from start to finish. But after we had 2 in the first 2 minutes, the Thunderbirds were right there for a while. 2 goals for the Birds sandwiched, a scoreless second period. But for as hard as Twin City worked to tie that game up early in the third, that momentum vanished in an instant, and Athens scored 11 seconds after the goal to make it 2-2. It would be 4 unanswered goals for Athens to end the game, and in those goals, Gus Ford would secure a hat trick. It's his first as an Athens player. It comes against his former team, and it seemed like it came in this performance from crashing the net with perfect timing. What makes Gus so lethal around the net like he has been?
He's just so dynamic with the puck, his stick handling and his vision on the ice, and he has that gift as a hockey player of where to go, where the puck's not. He kind of has that vision of going to areas of the ice where the puck's going to be. So he's kind of ahead of the play. He can see plays develop as they're happening, so he kind of sneaks off to the side, and he knows that puck's going to come over there. So special players have that ability, and like I said, goals are goals, and it's great to see Gus having success for sure.
With that goal, Gus now finds himself on the cusp of FPHL history. He has 199 goals in this league, and he would be only the 6th ever player in the FPHL to reach the 200 mark. I know Athens will have only played a part in 11 of those goals when it happens, but you've played your part in more than that. What would it mean to you to see Gus reach that peak?
Yeah, I think just going back to Gus and I's conversations when I first tried to get him to come to Carolina when I was coaching there, proud of him for sure. Kind of did tell him that he was going to light this league up, and it was going to be fun to watch him develop and stuff. It was kind of, I don't know. It was, I'm proud of him. Like I said, he's been a big part of me coaching, having success, and having him as a player has made it easy as a coach, especially coaching the Federal Hockey League. So it's awesome to see. It's a lot of goals. Takes a lot of games. Like this is a tough league to play in, night out without injuries and all that kind of stuff. So no, it means a lot. I think it means a lot to Gus too. It doesn't matter what league you're in, scoring 200 goals like that. That's a big milestone. That's a lot of pucks in the net. So I don't know if he's going to do the Ovechkin thing where he sends beers or the Budweiser beers out to all the goalies that he scored on, but that'd be kind of funny.
That would be really funny. Labatt Blue, hopefully. As we talk now, he has 10 goals and 12 assists in 10 games. It's interesting because if you extrapolate those statistics, that clip through 56 games, that's a real MVP level season. What has led, in your mind, to this recapture of the level of contribution that he had earlier in his FPHL career, those first 3 seasons he had?
It's just Gus Ford having fun. I think maybe a change of scenery. Just getting a kind of a shot in the arm. You get in a new team. You kind of get just in a new brand and everything, a new kind of prove yourself again. Kind of, he wants to prove to our fans here why we got him, and obviously the other guys going the other way want to prove to the Winston fans what they're going to see on their ice too. So I think it's just Gus Ford doing Gus Ford things. You hear that a lot. He just has a knack. He finds the puck and it goes in the back of the net for him. So credit to him, but I'm proud of him and look forward to him getting the big 200.
It's yet another game, this Friday game against Twin City, where the net front presence was a huge benefit for the team. And I think for opposing teams, it's something that is difficult to stop or control. I know it's something that you have to do on the other side of the ice. How does a team control the screens and the bodies on the edge of the crease?
It's just a choice. You have to make a choice to go to the net. That's where goals are scored. Whenever you're looking to tie a game up or a tight checking game or a 3-3 game or some type of playoff mentality game, most of the goals are scored around the net. Just easy rebounds somewhere. Someone has to have the intestinal fortitude. They know how to just stay net front. Again, sometimes when goalies are feeling it, you got to get a little bit in their kitchen. You got to get down there. You got to get dirty. You got to get greasy. You got to bang one in. Even if you're in a scoring slump. Like, again, I was told by some guys in hockey long ago that where a goal is scored, in front of the net. So guys have made long careers out of this, and it doesn't change. Doesn't matter what level of hockey you're at.
We moved to the next night where Athens fell in overtime for the first time this season, and it also marked their first loss this campaign to the Thunderbirds. It was Twin City who would take the first lead, and it was part of a first period where Athens was outshot 19-5. We've seen it happen since then as well against Monroe, specifically in the first period. What do you think contributes to those kinds of starts?
Well, I think it's a bunch of guys that are running the shot clock that have a happy finger, to be honest with you. So I'm not all that happy with it. It's been addressed and stuff. So I don't know. I didn't think that many shots got put on net, if I'm being honest. So credits to some of these people, like they're running points and stuff. They're running the clock and kind of trying to keep up on that thing. But it does make our save percentage for our goalies go up. That's for sure. So, but at the end of the day, when you get teams firing pucks from all over the place, from over the red line, the corners, low, high, strong side, it's hard to defend teams that are just shooting pucks on net, like at will. So we're not an overly heavy shot focus. We're more of we want to make a play and get the right shot and then dunk it in your net. So different styles for different coaches, different styles for different teams. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to throw it to the net because you never know. So, but no, it's I could care less, to be honest with you. Winning's winning. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? We have good goalies in there. We have good players. I'm not all that worried about it, to be honest with you.
Well, to go on the other side of the spectrum, when you take a look at the third period this season, Athens has been one of, if not the best third period team in the league all campaign long. What does that come down to? Is that fitness and conditioning, or is that more maybe mentality to not have the team beat itself, if that makes sense, before the game is over?
No, I think it comes down to our condition and our hockey players and how good we are and how dialed in our guys are. We just keep coming at you for 60 minutes here, whether we don't play a good 40 or whatever, and we can turn it up at any time. So little things can wake us up. I think Eli's hit, and then you got Salak going in there, jumping Eli, getting in a fight, which whatever. Eli answers the bell, does whatever. And then all of a sudden the Rock Lobsters are awake, and then bang, bang, bang. It's game over. Thanks for coming out. It's one of those things. I don't know. Any little thing can spark us at any time. So sometimes the old cliche is you got to let the line sleep a bit. So same thing on the other hand. We've had games where maybe we've started a fight and we've been doing very well in the game. And next thing you know, you wake that team up. So it can go, you can use anything for, could be a big shot block or could be a big save, anything to turn us around here. But as for the third periods, I think it's just our mindset of our team. Sometimes guys might not have our best game, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay. And like, again, the message in the dressing room is like, you just got to go and win 20 minutes here. Just go out, play 20 minutes, see where it's going to end here. And chances are with our Rock Lobster group, it's going to end in the W column.
Athens would win the third period, so to say, and then end up tying the game and go to overtime. And in that overtime, you just have this unfortunate stick break that springs Gallant on a breakaway to end the game. It seems like we saw a lot of stick breaks in Winston-Salem. Is that just the way it happens sometimes, or is there some sort of rink condition some of the players are doing?
Yeah, to be honest with you, we've had a lot of sticks breaks. So we've actually, all Warrior has been in touch with us and the stick manufacturers. So we've had a couple warranty issues. So guys have been breaking a lot of sticks and just wondering what it's all about. So there is that. But again, fortunate break. Good for Galley. Proud of him. Like, again, that's why they got him. I'm glad he's having success over there. and there's fortunate bounce for them. Stick breaks, doesn't break. We arguably maybe get a chance to score, but it's good to see. It's good to see our ex-players having success over there and having a smile on their face. And like I said, is it exactly how I drew it up? No, but no ill will. And I'm proud of the guys on the other side, and I'm proud of our guys too, battling every night. And like I said, we still got a point out of that. It was a massive point for us for sure.
Well said. Well said. I think despite the loss, I thought it was a good return to the Athens crease for William Lavalier. You now have 3 goaltenders that we've proven that we can win games with 3 impressive netminders. What is going to be the biggest predictor of who starts in the next game and then the next game and so on?
Yeah, I think just rest-wise, how we're playing, just how they're playing, everything under the sun here. It's one thing I don't got to worry about a ton is our goaltending. So it makes my life easy, but McPhail's definitely our guy. I think people know that. I think you know that as a team here. McPhail's our guy, but when you play in the Fed here, it's these turnarounds that are highly contested, travel. It's hot in these arenas, all that kind of stuff. You got to have these guys ready and willing. It just goes like even Saturday night, we can put Lavi in net. We got Salesy backing up, and then we can just have McPhail in street clothes resting. Not really having to worry about preparation of the game and all that kind of stuff, meals and all that kind of stuff. He can just be himself and relax and watch the game and then ride home on the bus and play the next night against Monroe. So it was great to have that luxury to have him being rested, but great to see Lavi back in the net. I think it was exciting for our group, give us a little shot in the arm. And then, he played very well for us. It's, I think he wanted one of those back, maybe that little trickler off the draw, which unfortunate bounce, but it's going to happen. But the boys bounce back and give us a chance to win night in, night out.
We now look at that next night against Monroe. Every game left against the Snakes is important with the top seed in the Continental Division in our sights. There'd be 2 main storylines in this game. And first, I'd like to talk about Garrett Milan. He's been obviously amazing all season long, but it felt like he was back at an MVP level in March, just the very top of his game. He scores again in the first, and then it unravels a little bit in the second period as he attempts to keep from falling. He's balancing on one leg. He gets slashed in that one standing leg, and he leaves the ice. Just any update on Millsy, any conversations you've had with him, anything like that?
Yeah, I think Millsy's just like week to week. I think he'll be out this weekend, but for the most part, he's going to be good to go. Again, we're looking after our top players, making sure they're going to be healthy for the playoff run here. And once we hit playoffs, everybody should be running full throttle. It's not much to worry about, to be honest with you. So it's one of those hockey plays. I don't think Greener meant to do anything. It didn't look vicious. It just was a bit of a slash and it's kind of one of those hockey players. But anyways, that's kind of where that's at with that, I guess. I don't, you know what I mean? As a coach, you guys are going to get hurt in hockey. We play a lot of games in a short period of time. It's a demanding sport on your body and stuff. And guys that are a little bit older, they got to make sure they take care of themselves a lot more, and hydration and everything else that goes on. So, it's just a game of hockey. It's going to happen. It's next guy up mentality. We still got a deep team. We got Mallow coming in this weekend back in, but it's all hands on deck. You see Big Pal out there battling through and playing minutes for us, and Eli and Macker and, you know what I mean, Jesse and Fordo, and everybody's picking each other up. Neeler, you know what I mean, we got Shinks up on forward. This team's you bend but don't break. This team's just resilient for sure.
I want to talk about the starting lineups for both the Sunday and the Tuesday game. Obviously, as they always are against Monroe, very physical affairs. And it seemed like you wanted to set the tone for that in the starting lineups and the way that the game started. What was the philosophy there? And can you go into your own language of what kind of tone you wanted to set at the beginning?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, there was some hearsay around both groups, I think, between the players and stuff, that they were going to get some vengeance back on Dustin. So I was like, yeah, if you want to play games, let's play games then. I'll put him out there. So I put Dusty out there to start for sure. I'm not going to hide him. Dusty can take care of himself. So if you're a man about it, he's right there. So if you want to do it, do it. We have a couple gentlemen that will reciprocate that. And then, just off the draw, they were asked, you want one? You want one? You want one? The answers were no. So sometimes there's certain individuals that run teams that hide behind their players and stuff that got a lot to say. Just the kind of player he was, to be honest with you. So sold even their guys. tell Big Boy over there to not hide behind his players. If he wants one, he knows right down the hallway for me. So it is what it is. Never heard a peep. So again, if they want to come knocking on the door, we'll knock back. That's for sure. And it is what it is at that point. I let the guys police themselves on that kind of stuff. But we're not going to back down, especially in our own arena for sure. And we're not going to ever get pushed around. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, back to the play on the ice, after Joe Mack was able to take the first lead of the game for Athens, it felt like the Rock Lobsters put the game away with another power play goal from Philip Virgili. However, an offsides call on the video review would take that goal back. The confusion for me, Coach, was the call on the ice was goal, and we saw the same video angles that the referees did. Was it onside? Was it offside? I don't think either of us can really say for sure. What I do think we can say was the video didn't really tell us anything. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I thought it was inconclusive, to be honest with you. Like, again, we had the iPad on the bench to look at, and we're getting the same view as what the refs are looking at over there. It was up on the glass, and then it come down, hit Neely in the hand, and then it hit him in the back of the leg. Well, when you look on the glass, everybody's on side, but once it hits him in the back of the leg, 40's a little bit ahead of him. So that's kind of what they were looking at. They said the puck was in the back.
We are tied at 1 apiece, and it's not the only game in the FPHL in that fashion. Prowlers and Hat Tricks at 1-1. Thunderbirds and Ice Cats 1-1. There's going to be a lot of attention on that game as the Thunderbirds try to get into the playoffs and squeak through the Ice Cats to get into the Commissioner's Cup postseason. Black Bears right now up 2-1 against the Wolves. There's 3 games that have yet to drop the puck. River Dragons and Moccasins, Bobcats and Breakers, Zydeco and the Scarecrows. Those 3 games all being played in the Central Time Zone. Meanwhile, in the here and now, in the galaxy not so far away, the Rock Lobsters and the Indiana Sentinels tied at 1 apiece. Indiana was able to take its first lead of the season against Athens through Zach Ross. That came 7 minutes into the first period. And then we saw that little tussle there between Cunningham and John Calgin. It wasn't a fully fledged fight as they both only got 2 minutes, but that drew some more energy into the building, and Athens was able to feed off that energy. The Rock Lobster scoring through Gus Ford's 200th of his FPHL career. Already his 11th goal in Athens colors. And they're in some special colors tonight. Out come the red of the lightsabers around the tank. Stormtroopers out of the tunnel. We're just about ready to go for the second period. Sentinels ended the first frame with more shots than Athens. Needs to be better from the hosts in general. But as we know, the first period has been the worst period for the Rock Lobsters this season. And they've gotten more and more comfortable as games have gone on. And let's see if they're able to flex their muscle in the 40 minutes that remain in regulation. Clone Trooper Storm. What's the difference, John? Are you telling me they weren't clones in the original trilogy? I was just talking with Andrew Chow, who is my tech extraordinaire, next to us in the tech booth from the press box. And me and him were in a long conversation about the original trilogy and how much better it was than the prequels. And then he also told me I need to watch Andor. Haven't watched Andor yet. I've heard that that's the big next watch for a Star Wars fan. Looks like the crease, the blue paint, being attended to right in front of John Werber there by the officials. Ice crew has come back out. Looks like maybe just an accumulation of snow. Looks like Michael Greco has found something here on the other side of the ice, on the edge of the slot. Looks like Shinkarik saw a little something on Paralat's chin there, was able to get it off for him. It's more or less the father of the team. I know Neely already has a kid, another on the way. Phil has a kid on the way, but Shinkarik, the veteran leader of this team, Captain Fantastic. Looks like we're ready to go for the second period. Joe Mack and Christersborn Manis on the opening draw of the middle frame. Trickles in towards the near side. Michael Greco looking for the second period hit to really set the tone against his former teammate Bohdan Zinchenko. Zinchenko loads up again, takes the hit from Michael Greco. Maye spins it around. Did that one come back out? No, it didn't, says the linesman. Snapped back from the wall by Tortorella and then sent long. Comes down off of Lease there as Werber was able to direct it from his crease. One-time pass is a pretty one. But it was an early step there by Hippolyte Smith. Calgin to Ford. Maye has to take it back in his own ice. Half whiffs on the pass, and Tortorella trying to make it pay off. Neely sends Ford on a run. Between his legs, Greco makes the extra pass, trying to feed it to the back door. Perlat trying to get it back onto the forehand after protecting with the backhand. Put off the glass. Perlat with the pinch, can't keep it in. Puck there to be won in front of the penalty boxes. Pops out for Lowell. Jesse from the block gets taken down. No call on the play. Greco with a couple plays with a stick in front of the Sentinel bench. One timed, followed up, 2 bites at the cherry, and Cunningham can't get it to go. Then it's snapped from the half wall. Donovan Powell once again buzzing around the ice. He was one of the most impressive Indiana Sentinels in the game yesterday. And you could see here, great centering pass followed up by on Cunningham on the rebound off the block shot. And then Powell one-times it creatively from that same spot at the half wall. Sentinels with some good opportunities in the opening 2 minutes of the second period. But here comes Virgili. Bartuccio Pereira whisks one towards the crease, stopped by Werber. Athens have yet to lead in this game. Getting outshot by the Sentinels. Probably is not something that the team, Garrett Rutledge, or Crustacean Nation could have imagined coming into this second period, but still a lot of game left to be played. Bartuccio Pereira up the wall, Croucher, Virgili, chaos in the crease. Sentinels able to stomp out the fire. Dawson with Perlat at his back. No look pass. Lease spins, shoots, saved by Sales. Croucher on Cunningham. Probably two of the speediest skaters available for both teams today. Cunningham Sales will know that the wraparound is a big weapon for Cunningham. He showed it last night. Shot blocked by Paralat. Might spring Athens going forward. Looks like it's a 4-on-2 here. Virgili to Paralat. 2 games removed from his last goal. Had 2 assists on the night last night. Look at the stick handling there from the Sasquatch. Virgili spins at the net front and gliding the glove over it is Werber. Better there from the Lobsters, and Paralat at the center of a lot of it. I want to thank all of you for watching on the YouTube side, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, like the stream, and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content, and that includes Coach's Corners, Lobster Tales, highlight reels, and more. In our last home game, it gives me a chance to highlight my 2 Stevens who helped me out so much with the broadcast, Mr. Self and Mr. Turner. Mr. Self makes all the tech happen, and Mr. Turner makes it all look good. And without them, I am useless here in the press box. Three minutes gone, and Bormanis is going to get kicked out from the faceoff circle. Joe Mack draws it back. Shinkarik, a quick move on to the backhand, stopped by Werber. Shot into the lower body of Kolatarsi, tries to shake that one off. Kaljan gets a roar from the crowd and then blasts one over the bar, comes back up in front of the net. Shinkarik unable to settle that puck down as it was spinning like a top. Kolatarsi almost gets taken out there. Had his sights set on Johnson. Johnson will eventually get on the end of the puck. Kolatarsi into Shinkarik. Rink wide, Neely kicks it to himself. Just trying to push through Zinchenko there. 2 Sentinels hugging the wall. Hippolyte Smith and Bodan Zinchenko. Maya able to use his big 6'4" frame. Powell, shot from the blue line. Joe Mack. Johnson got a touch. Easy enough for Werber to stick away from the crease. Here's Gus Ford, the goal scorer for Athens. Let's see if he can play a little bit more freely now that he has that monkey off his back, 200 to his name. Neely, really good reach in there. Kyle Powell was assessed a late minor. As a matter of fact, it was after the horn, minor for roughing. Adds on to his season tally, but not really anything else. Consequence of that, there might be consequences here to pay. Corey Cunningham makes the extra pass, a shot wide on the 2-on-1. The Sentinels would like to have that one back. Nolan Dawson can't find the presence that was at the point. Lifted, lofted in. Maye takes a shove. Top three for Bormanis. Kyle Powell. I think the lacrosse move was tried there by Cunningham. Here's Cunningham again. Loses an edge, and there's the shot. There's the goal. They were seconds away from getting on to the power play. Christers Bormanis with his second of the season. Looks like Matt Sales braced for the shot. He got drawn to the edge of the crease, and it created the opening for Bormanis to shoot at the net side, and Athens is behind again. Sentinels trying to make a big statement. They might be eliminated from the playoffs, but they're coming into this game with the not giving an expletive factor. Not having anything to play for. You wouldn't believe it with how they're playing this contest tonight. Perlat loose from him, but gets back on the end of it. Croucher to Virgili. Takes it on to the right side. Virgili to Bartuccio Pereira. Virgili unable to make a play with his left hand in the slot. Croucher backhands it the same direction. Good poke check there from Bartuccio Pereira. Virgili centers it. Bartuccio Pereira got under the blade of his twig. Perlat gets crunched, makes the pass though. Leifer's shot takes a trajectory off of Romeo Terrain. You can hear the clattering of the sticks from the Indiana bench. Look at the spin there from Powell. Perlat looking like a goaltender there. Makes the glove save from the pass, getting threaded to the slot. Calgin goes on a trip. Johnson able to get it back to him. Calgin trying to bank it in off the backside of Werber. Johnson, silky from him. Greco spins one. Calgin with the duck. Johnson on the rebound. Joe Mackin behind. Athens needed more. We're seeing a little bit of it here on this shift. Greco gets to his own rebound of the shot. Greco makes another stop at the point. A skipping stone. Misses its mark. Sentinels dump and change. Neely just out of reach of Shinkarik. Icing leads to the commercial timeout. Sentinels have their lead back. It's the Latvian Kristers Bormanis, his second of the year. Comes against a big team. Indiana 2, Athens 1.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing.
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
For the final game of the regular season, Saturday, April 11th, catch the Rock Lobsters on the road with Crustacean Nation at a watch party hosted by the official Booster Club. The Claws Up crew hosts at Union Fair in downtown Athens, starting at 6:30 and going until the final horn. Big screens, great food, and it's completely free. That's Union Fair, 169 West Washington Street on April 11th. If you can't be in Monroe, be there. Looks like the Moccasins already have a 1-0 lead in just the first 4 minutes against Columbus. If Monroe wins this game, it doesn't really change much if Athens also loses. Nice little drive right out of the faceoff for Indiana. Johnson helps it ahead for Neely. Couldn't get it through a man in blue. Shinkarik the furthest back. Lees. Sales lets up the rebound, helped out by his teammates in front. Neely straight into a Sentinel. Indiana kind of gets in their own way there. Puck movement not as crisp for the Lobsters. Here comes Ford, makes the extra pass, but Lowell didn't get there in time. Shinkarik trying to snipe it. Takes a shove. Bormanis without a stick, trying to play defense without a twig. His stick plays some defense there in the left circle. Greco looking for the redirect. Lowell on the rebound, reloads through Greco. The Grecking ball with a shot, saved by Werber. Lowell, J-Lo getting down low. Got to the slot, reaches out with a stick. Trying to win that puck back. Lowell might be a little bit of a lucky man there. That could have been a trip. Leafers to Ford, onto the backhand, bar down. May the Ford be with you again. It's 201. He's the man they're talking about with good reason. But look at the pass there from Leafers. Leafers maybe on the hunt for a goal in his own right, unselfishly makes the extra pass, and then Ford, with that small amount of space that he's granted, able to take it on to the backhand. It's a great shot, and once again, everything is all even. Gary Rutledge needed a little bit more from his team. He got a little bit more there from Leafers and Ford. Everett Thompson, quite animated on the Indiana bench. I'm wondering if it's going back to that call against Jesse Lowell or the no call for Lowell. We saw Lowell reach out there with the stick. I thought it was tripping initially. Well, it looks like there's a penalty against the Sentinels. Corey Cunningham will sit here, and I'm wondering if it's for abuse of officials against Everett Thompson. I guess we'll get the answer here in a second. Ford with goal number 39. He is one away from 40, and he is on hat trick watch. Athens on the Paloma Park power play for the second time tonight. Croucher to Lowell's got a little bit of buzz about him. Maye centering everything. Leafers just wide. He is hungry for that goal. Has not scored since his debut on February 1st. Lowell to Leafers at the end boards. Maye skates away from the wall. Croucher to Leafers. Opts for the shot. He did his part on the primary assist of Ford's goal. Now he's looking for a goal of his own. Already nearly a minute killed off on this penalty. Calgin almost got a fortuitous bounce. Here come the Sentinels, who have a new lease on life, and here's Jonas Lease. They rolled the dice, and now they're a little bit more skint at the back. I think Croucher is going to sit here. Or was he held up by a Sentinel? Looks like it's going to be Croucher. Athens power play will end early. Still not getting confirmation of what the penalty was by the Sentinels. I would think that it had to be some sort of abuse of officials, a bench minor. And we are going to a commercial break here. Staying tuned with us here on the ARL Network. We got a tied game again. Ford with his second of the night. Indiana 2, Athens 2.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! comes your way. There's a pro for that.
Serve pro, like it never even happened.
Roughing was the call on Croucher, but that penalty still hadn't came in that sees Corey Cunningham in the box, but I do believe it is some sort of abuse of officials. 2-2 game, 9:12 left. We'll play 41 seconds on the 4-on-4. And Ford scored on the 4-on-4 earlier on. He's back on the ice here. Now with 2 goals in the contest, looking to make it 3. Scored his first hat trick as a Lobster last Friday in Winston-Salem. Will he get his first at home? Lowell was able to stick with that well for a second. Bohdan Zinchenko didn't do with that pass what he wanted to do with it. Let's see if Athens are a little bit more aggressive with what remains on the 4-on-4 before they'll have to go to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Ford! It does look like he is playing with a little bit more freedom now that he finally has goal number 200. And now Indiana on the power play. Athens on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Mishandled by Zach Ross. He opened the scoring tonight. Ford with a giveaway. Against his former teammate there, Corey Cunningham. Weren't teammates long in Carolina. Walking the tightrope, Sales reaches his hands out, blocked by Paralat, who looks a little worse for wear after that block shot, and then sends it down. Joe Mack trying to chase it down as it's on the edge of the defensive ice. Joe Mack wins it off of Willette, digs it deeper into the zone. Don't get us wrong, this is a Sentinels team that looks a little different tonight, playing with some extra oomph. Virgili, what a move onto the forehand. One of the best shootout shooters for Athens, almost treating it like a shootout there. Shikarik gets to his own block shot, takes it in around, sends it to the net front. All it needed was a touch, and it was a touch that was never received. And now, Michael Greco, the furthest back, what a poke check, and then puts Bormanis on his hind end. Things are starting to pick up here. Virgili around Leifers. Spins from the corner, Leifers down to a knee, takes it wide. And now there's chaos in the corner. Romeo Terrain has got, I believe, Michael Greco in a bear hug, and now there's multiple involved. Leifers takes down a man. Leifers has got a man in the guillotine. And Michael Greco brings the tank to its feet. Greco left Bormanis in a heap. 4 players will sit, 2 for the Lobsters, 2 for the Sents. The boos are for the Indiana goal scorer that made it 2-1 earlier on in the game, Bormanis. We'll see how the referees delineate the penalties on this one. An announced sellout in the building, and a big thank you to Crustacean Nation. It wasn't a fight in the first period, but that tussle between Calgin and Cunningham that brought more energy into the building led to the goal from Ford. Kyle Powell, kind of the man on the front line, talking to the entire Indiana bench. Didn't really see how all of this started. It looks like there's the first interaction there between Bormanis and Greco. There's a cross-check in the back there of Greco. Greco takes exception and then kind of takes Bormanis into the corner. Bormanis crying wolf to the referee, and then Terrain trying to double team Greco with Bormanis. Leifers takes exception, and both Greco and Leifers able to take care of business. Even despite the fact that it was initially 2-on-1, Bormanis kind of turtled up there on Greco. Bormanis was left in the heat. Michael Greco with a little of the claws up. Right now there's 2 penalties, 2 minutes each for both of the teams up on our score strip here. There is still some chance for the Russian contingent, Gleb Bandurkin and Daniil Glukaryov, to come back for the postseason. The legal team for the Rock Lobsters is still working on that front, but visa situation so difficult to handle, especially with the global picture right now. Skating 4-on-4 here for 2 minutes. Neely almost won it back on the reach-in against Hippolyte Smith. Hippolyte Smith gains an extra gear. Takes it back to the point. I believe it almost trickled out there, and it did. So the Sentinels offside. Ford rushing to get on the end of a 2-on-1. Here comes Neely, gets under his stick. Athens had the break, unable to execute. Here comes Corey Cunningham. He's been the best Sentinel for Indiana this weekend. Glove down by Paralat. Cunningham had a step on him, but Paralat able to outreach that stick and win it back. Gus Ford tiptoes in. Croucher fresh out on the ice. Nice little toe drag move. Comes out of the slot, trickles a shot wide. Croucher takes a piece of his man. Johnson to Croucher. It's going to have to be his shot, and he shoots it over the bar. Johnson getting impeded, but able to do enough. Joe Mack enters up the right flank. Skips a shot, goes to the far side. Shinkarik steps in from the neutral ice. Almost gets crossed up with Mack, but skates away with it. I think it came off the helmet of Werber there and heads it down into his own glove. Athens starting to look a little bit more like Athens. You could see that in the shot on goal tally, but the scoreline remains the same at 2-2. Looks like we got a timeout at the play. Don't think it should be our under 5 timeout. So we'll stay here. Take a look at Star Wars trivia happening up in the concourse. Trying to think if I could just come up with a Star Wars trivia question. Okay, well, here we go. It's up on the big screen here. Padme Amidala is first queen of, and then the senator from, what peaceful planet? A, Tatooine, B, Naboo, C, Mustafar, or D, Hoth? What do you guys think at home? What was Han Solo frozen in? Carbonite. Everybody knows that. According to Star Wars legend, what substance powers lightsaber? That's Kyber crystals. Is Kyber the correct pronunciation? They didn't give me a pronunciation guide on any Star Wars terms before the game, believe it or not. Athens are going to have an offensive zone faceoff. There's 2 minutes left on the penalties that were doled out. Probably will see those players in a while. Looks like Bormanis and Greco were just called 2 minutes for roughing, so that was not called as fighting, although it was for leafers in terrain. Shinkarik almost gets caught out. Here he is again, tenacious on the play as Everest, Captain Fantastic. Centering pass, doesn't go to plan. Michael Greco back out on the ice at an inopportune time, and the Sentinels find the top shelf. Bormanis was fresh back on the ice as well, and he might have just got the last laugh on Greco. That break happened right as both Bormanis and Greco came back out on the ice, and the Sentinels have their third lead of the game. Athens have found their offensive fluidity as this game's gone on, but the stalwart defensive nature has not come back for Athens yet. Stoppage in play. 4:31 remaining in the second period. Bormanis' third of the season, second of the night. Comes Ross. He had the first Indiana goal. It's been 2 from the Latvian Bormanis ever since. Tomacek. Right circle shot. Sales lets up the rebound and then stretches out the leg to deprive Powell. Gus Ford leading the charge. Who else? He's on hat trick watch well, as is Bormanis. Hits a stick, takes it to the end boards. Bartuccio Pereira, quick puck movement. Lowell in the slot. Neely there to help out, and the puck finds its way into row number 5. Every time you feel like Athens has had that wake-up moment in this game, it feels like they then find themselves a step behind. Caljan tried to backhand it, popped up on he and the Sentinel that he was doing battle with. Croucher whips a wraparound, scored in similar fashion back in Indiana to start the season. Gets away from Lees. Caljan keeps it as far away from his man as possible. Shot from distance, Bartuccio Pereira. Easy enough for Werber. Croucher. Shot gets blocked. Just about saved at the point by Joe Mack. Caljan up the wall from Bartuccio Pereira. Centered by Mack. Pinballing around the blue paint and covered up once again by Werber. The Sentinels would love the taste of taking a lead into the intermission. Malik Johnson getting in the face of someone down there in the corner. Both our cameras and me here in the press box unable to see who was on the end of that. I think it's Corey Cunningham. Looks like Carter Shinkarik's going to take a face-off here. You can't ever look at any team as an easy win on the schedule. And the Sentinels are proving why here. Bormanis into the glove of Sales. Sentinels already eliminated, 40 points on the season, 7th, last in the Empire Division. Don't have anything to play for, but it almost appears as that's what's giving them the advantage right now. Malik Johnson, ever the catalyst, with a big hit. Shinkarik right into the midsection there of Werber. I think Malik Johnson a little bit frustrated that it could have been an open net for him to pass into if the extra pass was made. It's a line here of Shinkarik, Johnson, and Virgili. Kolatarsi and Greco are in behind. Bullet Smith through everybody and down for icing. Face off will get taken back down. 2:39 left in the second period. And the Rock Lobsters once again, feels like no matter what at this point, will have to win the game in the third period, even if they tie it up late here in the second. Shinkarik takes it with him, doesn't really get the shot off though as he breezed through the dot. Shinkarik trying to one-time a pass to Virgili. Poked out of the zone. Dustin Perlat wheeling away from Tomacek. Shinkarik centering pass for Virgili. Rips a shot, spills back out in front. Johnson, as he was falling, trying to get anything on the rebound. Virgili out in front. Shot blocked by Terrain. Pardon me, that's Hippolyte Smith with the blocked effort. Johnson spins one ahead for Virgili. Perlat on the forecheck. Puck still loose to be won. Gets through the stick of Ford. Tomacek centers it, looking for Powell at the back door. Puck goes out of play. I don't think the officials realize it until late. Leafers and Terrain have done their time, and right now Athens can use all the bodies it can get. Faceoff will be to the left of Sales. Sentinels trying to play spoiler. Dawson spins one in no man's land. Neely kind of fakes a centering pass to Lowell, then takes it in himself. Lowell trying to chip it ahead. Mai helped out there by the slip from Corey Cunningham. Lowell plays body instead of puck. Mai with a poke check effort against Dawson. And there's another icing against Indiana. This is the fourth game of the week for the Rock Lobsters. Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, and now Saturday, as they head into a important 2-game set in Monroe to finish out the regular season. They will hope that they can win this one and set the tone to finish off the regular season strong and then go into playoffs. Ford trips his man on the forecheck. And Sentinels going back to the power play. Wes Ford voicing his disapproval. The Sentinels have struck, and the Lobsters strike back. Athens on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Strong, skilled, strategic defense necessary for Athens to keep it a 1-goal game. That's also what Leslie Jones gives you if you find yourself in a cell with one phone call. Call Leslie Jones Law. Hippolyte Smith, a give and go with Cunningham. 2 former Thunderbirds, but I don't believe either were on the team at the same time. Is there one last play to be made here? 10 seconds to go. I think Indiana came into this game not too displeased with their performance in last night's contest, and they've rode that momentum into this Saturday night finale. They find themselves with a potentially rare 3 points to their name if they can keep the Crustaceans where they are in the third period. 20 minutes left to go in this one. No, this is not FPHL hockey on your screen. A little bit of the game during the first intermission. And then back to the big boys. And Michael Greco was laying some big hits and laying some big punches along with Eli Leafers. Taking care of Bormanis and Romeo Terrain. But the Sentinels after that had some big-time plays. Ford doubled his tally on the night. That's goal 201 of his career. Nice little bar-down move that tied the game up at 2-2. But Bormanis with a pair in the second period. And that has the Sentinels up 3-2 with 20 minutes left to play in this one. Can the Sentinels do the unthinkable? Luke Croucher scored in last night's game, and he was someone who really lit the scene on fire in his first couple of games, which came against the Indiana Sentinels. You could tell that he was going to be a difference maker early on, and now after coming back from that ankle sprain injury that he had, it feels like he's finding more of the shot at the end of his stick, and he's finding more of the speed in his skates. I had a chance to talk with him earlier on in this season. We hope you enjoy our Lobster Tales segment with Luke Croucher. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Mateen Rad, and my guest on this episode currently leads Athens in scoring, and he's made the transition from college to the pros look easy. Welcome to the show, Luke Croucher. Thanks so much for joining me, Crouchy.
Thank you, Mateen. I appreciate you having me on the show today. I'm excited to see what this brings.
Of course, man. We got to have you on, especially with the kind of run you're having. I mean, we talked about how easy you've made the transition look, but can you tell us firsthand how that step up in competition has felt for you in your first 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think just being able to build habits and routines is like a big part of what I do. I think that was like, I think the adjustment, surprisingly, college versus pro, the game slows down a little bit. A lot of people wouldn't realize that. When they come to this level, you expect a lot more because you think it's like pro level, but you don't realize like the guys are a lot smarter. They think the game more, and it's more kind of understanding. How do you adapt to that? How do you think the game more? And that's kind of the step I'm trying to take in my game. Obviously, it helps having a little bit of speed up the middle and on the wings, but nothing but awesome teammates and everything like that. So pretty fun adjustment, honestly, from college to pro.
Whatever line you've been on so far, you've been making important contributions on. Most recently, you've been centering the two Russians in Gleb Bandurkin and Danil Glukaryov. How does it feel to be playing between those two right now?
It's actually exciting. They play with free will. I think Danny and Gleb are they gel so well together. So it's you're just trying to contribute to what they're doing. They have good chemistry together. They've been absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that they're both players that take risks in their games. I think a lot of players, even minor hockey players, just don't take enough risks. And that's why they don't see rewards. And they're fun to be around because they're so creative, and it helps me keep my free will as well to do great things. So I think all of a sudden we just kind of fell into line with each other against I believe PD there this past weekend, and it just worked, and it sparked, and it's something that's positive.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting in good spots, and you're doing a really good job of finding them right now. Going back to the beginning of this year, what can you tell us on how the opportunity with the Rock Lobsters emerged for you? I do know that you and Coach Rutz kind of go way back a little bit.
Yeah. So Coach Rutz and I, we never really crossed paths with each other at any points, but we were kind of embedded into organizations at one point. I believe it was the Oakville Blades, and he also knew past coaches of mine when I played Junior B for the Hamilton Kilty Bees in the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League. And it was just kind of it's just how hockey goes. Like one phone call here, one phone call there. He made a phone call to Newman, and then he realized that I was at Newman. He made the connection. He tried to get two of our players from Newman down there. Unfortunately, only one of us got down here in the end, and I've been just fortunate that this connection's happened. I was honestly debating hanging up the boots this year, and I'm actually just thrilled I just took kind of the opportunity to do this and just try it out and see what happens. And now we're here.
I think even more opportunities are going to come for you down the line as well, Crabtree, with the way you've been playing. It might not just be on the ice either. You might need to teach me how to get some more YouTube views and subscribers, man. You have nearly 3,000 subs, more than 100,000 views on your YouTube channel, where you've documented what it's like to be a D3 hockey player at Newman University.
Yeah.
I was curious, what inspired you to put your story out there like that?
I think there's a lot in the hockey process nobody sees. I think when you become a pro, I see NHL players, and I always was like, why can't I just see what they do every day to get to where they are? And I didn't know whether I was going to continue playing or not. That's why I thought it was important to make sure I just documented the process too. There's actually 5 to 10 videos that are unseen, that are unedited and like ready to come out. So there's a lot more coming this way. I just took my senior year to just enjoy it, not worry about all the, the sparkly stuff, I guess. And yeah, it was just kind of like figuring out what if I was a kid who was 10 years old again, what would I want to see? And I think a lot of it actually came from my roommates pushing me. I'll shout out my old goaltender, Cole DeFazio. He pushed me into actually creating YouTube and starting YouTube because he saw I used to watch a bunch of goalies who used to make content and Dana Life content. And now I see like Willie Stiles making Dana Life videos on YouTube. It's kind of cool that it all emerged like this, but I feel like this is just the beginning now, and now I can document my pro journey. So it only piggybacks onto other things and hopefully greater things to come.
Well, it's good to hear that some of your teammates were motivating you, because I watched that first episode you ever did, and your teammates were kind of busting your chops at the time, telling you not to bring that to the game.
Right now, pregame, why not? What are they going to do? And
if I score today, like 3 goals, what are you gonna say? Okay. Then we're okay.
Were you ever discouraged from continuing on, or did you just not let that kind of stuff bother you?
Obviously, as much as people would like to say, hey, try and like cancel out the noise, it's hard to do it all the time. There's going to be players, teammates, coaches, whatever it is, has positive and negative views. And it's just realizing that is, I think, one perspective I had early on in the journey was like, is your regret going to be bigger, or is your fear of judgment going to be bigger? And once I kept reminding myself of that, it's like, okay, just pull out the camera. Nobody's going to care at the end of the day. They're going to chirp you day one, and then they'll realize that it's actually legit when it goes off. So it's trying to getting over that barrier, getting comfortable in front of the camera. It's like they don't see themselves doing it. That's why they kind of push off their own limitations to you or limiting beliefs to you. So that was kind of a big learning curve to me. So now that I'm kind of a little bit more established, it's been helpful, and everyone here has been super supportive of the process and encouraging. And I'm a guy who's very shy when it comes to behind the closed door. So I try to not to get in anyone's way and just document what I can do and what people see of me. So
No, I think that's a really, really healthy mindset and perspective to have. And I think inquiring minds want to know, are there any plans for you to continue documenting your journey now as a pro player with the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, so I do have videos. So just like I've got 5 to 10 videos, college embedded videos, I did record our weekend in Indiana. I mean, some of our players might have not even known I've been recording in Indiana. I did let the boys know. I plan on recording this weekend, our upcoming weekend, our back-to-back against Carolina or Twin City here. So hopefully I can get some cool footage of the rink and stuff like that, and just walking around, seeing fans. And but it's trying to find a healthy medium of like, when do you bring out your phone? When do you not bring out the phone? Obviously, I'd love to have a camera crew following me around, but again, you don't want it to be a distraction either. So that's a big learning curve too, that I kind of have to continue.
I mean, that sums up a lot of what you do off the ice. Let's get back to what's on the ice. And Crouch, keep in mind, I've only watched you play now for 240 minutes. But if someone were to ask me what I've seen from you on the ice, I would say, I bet he's really annoying to play against. The way you hunt pucks, you lead the forecheck. Even when you're pushed down to the ice, you get back up, the puck is still on the blade of your stick. I really don't know how you do it. How would you describe the game that you bring to the ice in your own words?
Cool question. I mean, I got a mix of, if I were to imagine a player, I imagine 4 players. I loved watching Mitch Marner when he played for the Maple Leafs. I love watching William Nylander, just his skill and his poise, and Nikita Kucherov. Those guys I aspire to play like, that skill, but I also have the grit of wanting to be like Brad Marchand. Everybody hates playing against him, but everyone loves it when he plays for them, plays with them. So just having a combination of that, and just realizing that, hey, you don't know when your last game's going to be, so you might as well put it on the line when you can. I know that I learned a lot in college. We worked like dogs, and shout out to my coach at Newman, Mike Hedden. He taught me a lot for the 2 years I had him, or a year and a half I had him there. And I'm hoping I can just continue to keep the ball rolling here. So that's kind of a description of my game, if any.
It might be presumptive of me, but I think if there was one person on the team that had a similar game to you, it might be Garrett Milan. I mean, the MVP last year. Right now, you're getting off to a hot start. Has there been anything that you've tried to pick up from Millsy's game since you two have started to share the ice?
Yeah, for sure. I see him, and we look. I'm not saying we look alike. I'm saying we play probably pretty similar games. And both being very, we've been chirped before. He says he's still taller than me, or says I'm the midget on the team. But it's good to know guys who've been successful. Like, he played at St. Cloud for, I think, 4 years there. He's played his time in the Coast or the SP, and he's won in different places. And I always try to pick guys' brains, or even just watch them on the ice, what their habits are, what they do with the puck, how do they move off of the puck is more important for me, is seeing what their habits are like, and then just when I get the chance to talk to them, just pick their brains of what their experience was like. What would they have done differently? What would have they continued to keep doing? What would they, still have done today? And yeah, I think even Nielsey too, Eric Nielsey, who we've acquired too, Shinks, older guys that have just been through the process. I was just on a car ride home with Joey. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Coley. All great guys on our team, but cool to pick their brains just to see what their process is like and what their perspective's been, because they've been through the whole process. So just continuing to learn. I think if you just be a student of the game, that's all you can ask for. Perfection or progress over perfection.
I would tell you that it's Kolatarsi, but I feel like I just ask guys, hey, is this how you pronounce your name? And they just say, yeah, no matter what I say. So I couldn't say for sure if that's the case. But
right.
Coming off this past weekend, you're just coming off your first ever home game at Akins Ford Arena. I know there was the scrimmage a few weeks before that, but different atmosphere, of course. What are your first impressions on the atmosphere, the fans, the facility, in the building that I call the Tank?
The Tank. I love that. I think that's the first time I've heard that. That's I think it's exactly what it's like to play there. You don't realize you get the SEC type football fans in a hockey arena. We went to Kentucky the other day, or the game Georgia versus Kentucky 2-3 weeks back before we went to Indiana. And to see 93,000 in that stadium, or however many there was too many to see.
It's crazy.
We almost get that mentality inside the rink. So even if it's just a stick off the glass, people are still learning the game of hockey down here, and just everything that we do is exciting for them. And that's huge for us to know that we have that energy.
That's a little bit of the here and the now and the future. Let's get back more to your roots. I knew you grew up in Ancaster, Ontario, within the city of Hamilton. I mean, you already talked a little bit about Marner and Nylander. Does that mean you most likely grew up a Leafs fan?
100%. And don't get me wrong, I love Austin Matthews. But yeah, through and through. I used to be a Patty Kane fan. Loved my Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin growing up, of course. Used to be a Washington fan growing up just because I love scoring goals. And but had to bring it back to the roots at one point or another.
I mean, that kind of answered my next question, as if there was a player that you watched growing up. Sid the Kid, Ovi, obviously, those are really good answers. But otherwise, childlike instincts. Halloween night coming up on our Friday night game. Were there any memorable Halloween costumes for you, either as a kid or a college player? Maybe you went as Sid the Kid for Halloween one year.
No, you know what? It'd be funny, a hockey player going as a hockey player, right? Never got the chance to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. Most nights in Halloween, I think I can only really remember a few. Maybe I was a Power Ranger once, but most Halloween nights we'd be either practicing or playing. That's just how it's like in Canada. Halloween's not treated as a vacation. I do remember just a photo of more of my parents. They used to be M&Ms together. I think that was cool. And having a long distance girlfriend, I bring that back, but that's about it. Nothing crazy. Not that I can remember of.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to have a costume in the booth. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth spending the money on a costume just to have.
I'm seeing anyone wants to go Lobsters with me.
If players showed up to the rink as Lobsters Friday night, that'd be memorable.
And then I'll go out in the city of Athens after, and they'll know the Lobsters are out.
Everybody will know. Everybody will know. Luke, we're going to play a quick game together. What I want to do is ask you some quick rapid fire questions. You're going to answer those questions with the names of one of your teammates. I'm calling this one Lobster Roll Call. First one I want to ask you, if one of your teammates were to make day in the life content just like you do, whose content would be the most entertaining?
Entertaining. All right, my roomie said I should shout him out today, so I'll say Carter McPhail. I'm thinking about doing a day in the life just with him, watching my goalie day in the life. Maybe flip the camera one day. So I'm going to go with him.
No stranger to YouTube content himself. Next question, who's the loudest guy in the locker room?
Best guy in the locker room. We got a lot of vocal guys. I was gonna say local. We got no local guys, but a lot of vocal guys. There's got to be a battle between maybe
Michael Greco's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Greco, Garce, Millsy. They're all in the mix. I wouldn't say Carter McPhail's far off either. They love to chop it up.
It's nice to see that McPhail isn't afraid of using his voice in his first few days as a pro. Who has the messiest locker in the locker room?
Now that's a strict policy in our room. So if anyone's got a messy locker, you're getting fined for that. So I'm going to say no one's really got a messy locker room to keep the standard.
Athens needs a boost here in the third period. Let's take a look at some of the scores around the FPHL. Prowlers up 2-1 against Danbury. Thunderbirds down 1-2 against the Ice Cats as PD tries to clinch their spot in the Continental Division, that last spot into the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Black Bears expectedly handling the Wolves 4-1. Tied game between the River Dragons and the Moccasins. Bobcats up big, as are the Baton Rouge Zydeco against the Breakers and the Scarecrows. Rock Lobsters were outscored 2-1 in the second period. 2 from the Latvian Kristers Bormanis. It marks his first multi-goal game in his FPHL career, in game number 60 of his career tonight in the FPHL. Gus Ford with a little bit of personal history as well, scoring goals 200 and 201 of his FPHL career. As Athens within one, but the Sentinels, who do have the second worst power play clip in the FPHL, will have a chance to create a 2-goal cushion here in the early going of the third period with a man advantage. Gus Ford sitting 2 minutes for tripping, and there's still 1:17 left on his penalty. Matt Sales staying spry. Rock Lobsters have been one of, if not the best, third period teams in the FPHL this season. They need to be that in this game as Ford awaits his return from the penalty box. Away we go in this third period. Athens down a goal and down a man. Colarusso with a loose pass. Here he is again. Cross ice, Philip Tomacek was labeled to me by Andy Petzinger, the commentator for the Indiana Sentinels, who has traveled here as the man to watch for this Indiana team, and he gets absolutely stapled to the boards. And it looks like we've got a penalty. A cross check. Did it come after the hit for the Sentinels? Looks like it did, and the Indiana power play will end. Philip Tomacek, I think, taking exception to that big check that was laid down right in front of Larry Wise in the corner. And then cross-checked the man who implemented the hit. I thought it was Jesse Lowell. Four on four for 52 seconds. Athens already has a 4-on-4 goal today, but the man who scored it is in the box currently. Joe Mack tying up Lease. Mack to Croucher, makes the extra pass. What a save by Werber. That is tremendous from the man who makes his return with Indiana tonight. A near certain goal stopped by the man out of Skillman, New Jersey, and showing the skills there. Let's take another look. Joe Mack able to win it off Lease, and then Croucher skillfully makes the extra pass, trajecting across the crease and stopping it with the pad. What a tremendous save from John Werber. And then after the draw won by Indiana, shot in and out of the glove of Matt Sales. There's a return hit from what we saw earlier on in the period. Croucher trying to lay one himself. Past Croucher is Bormanis. He's on hat trick watch. came into this game with just 1 goal on the year. Of course, a lot of late season additions on this Indiana Sentinels roster. Neely settles it, glides through, still Neely, glove stop now by Werber. The Rock Lobster power play is just about to start here. But what a couple of back-to-back saves by John Werber, who is not showing any rust in his first game for the Sentinels since March 14th. But now there's a minute 7 of power play time for the Rock Lobsters to work with. I have no idea why Joe Mack is kicked out there. I've got nothing for you. Gus Ford, experienced with face-offs as well. Neely into the glove again. Back-to-back saves with the leather from Werber on Neely. Still a minute to go on the power play. Joe Mack still upset about getting kicked off from the face-off. They'll get another chance here. Joe Mack with a face-off win. Ford to Paralat. Ford is a goal away from the hat trick, but there's the blast. Wide from Paralat. Paralat again. Passes out wide to the left flank. Pass from Neely. Didn't even look at the crease and almost leaks through Werber. Dawson chooses not to clear here. Instead, sends it over to Lees, who will partake instead. Athens overhandling the puck a little bit in their own ice. Lowell able to stop the clearance on his own giveaway. Paralat with Max Tortorella hot on his heels and rides him leg first into the boards. That's a dangerous play. Doesn't seem like there's any penalty on the play at all. Johnson through a man. Shot. Trajectory wide of the mark. Leifers taken down from behind by Zinchenko. Johnson, don't think he knew Leifers was there. Max Tortorella backhands it into the zone. Sales touches it over to Shinkarik. No one there in the corner for the captain. Rimmed back around by Donovan Powell to the far side. Was that stopped at the point by Bormanis? No, it wasn't offside against Indiana. Rock Lobsters have had their chances, but Werber has stood tall to them. Work for Athens to do. Maye whips one down for Calgin. And a frisbee of a puck finds itself into the stands here. Sold out crowd of 5,740 tonight takes the total season attendance to 125,611. A big thank you to all of you Crustacean Nation watchers who have made that happen this season. We could not do it without you. Maye, pass right up the Royal Road toward Calgin, chipped in by the man who's coming off a goal and assist performance last night. Zinchenko had a step against his former teammates. Two Crustaceans around the Ukrainian now. Battle for possession here at the wall. Gets out for the Sentinels. Shinkarik to Maye. Eases it out in front for Mack, and then Kaljet sends it high and long. Croucher with good tenacity there. Does well, but unfortunately there was no teammates with him to help him out. Neely settles it. Slot shot. Twig snapped in half. Here's Ford. Makes the pass despite being on a hat trick. Neely's got a new stick. You might want to go get a new one after that pass, though. Bartuccio Pereira drove the net last night, got his first goal as a Lobster. Athens, goal for desperation for a goal, grows stronger in the third period. Loose puck. Offside against Michael Greco. Draws some yells from the Rock Lobsters, number 98. We go to the commercial timeout here. Sentinels right now still in control of this game. Lobsters looking for a goal. It's Indiana 3, Athens 2.
Hi, welcome to Chandler Jewelers. What would you like to learn today?
Looking for a new watch, something a little more fast, more precise.
Yeah, that one looks like it's seen better days. And let's get you something that can keep up.
Oh snap, I got a game to get to. Whew, plenty of time to spare.
Athens still down a goal here. Some passionate fans here for the Sea Bear Oyster Bar Kiss Cam. Looks like the Thunderbirds have tied it up against the Ice Cats. Athens hoping to tie it up against the Sentinels. Don't think that this is where Lobsters would have thought they found themselves with 15 minutes to play against this Indiana team. The Sentinels have not let the occasion get to them. Nothing to play for in this big building. Shot from Bartuccio Pereira, but having a good sight line on it was Werber. Werber wearing the number of Chris Kerr, as it was not expected for Werber to be on the trip, and Chris Kerr left last night's game due to injury. Starters here for the Lobsters. Let's see if they can get Athens restarted here. Loose pass from Panavinov. Looks like Ford, as Garrett Rutledge has often done with Garrett Milan this season, Ford is being deployed as a defenseman as Athens searches for this goal. Ford having to race back to get to this one. And he'll get the ball rolling back down the hill. Ford marauding through. Gets the shot off. So close to a hat trick, but it springs a 2-on-1. Donovan Powell makes a pass, and Johnson choosing to wipe out his man. Tomacek, like a bowling ball, gets the strike in the crease of Sales. Malik Johnson goes into the sin bin, and Powell making the pass there, and Tomacek Taking a push from Johnson. Question in the chat, how wide do they get kicked out of the face-off circle? It's often because the linesman sees some sort of infraction to the centerman who is taking the face-off. Often enough, it's because they're not guided by the hash marks properly. The hash marks show you where you have to be. That kind of tic-tac-toe formation there that's in the circle. Sales able to deal with the initial stop. Werber leaves it for Panavinov. Sentinels having a weak power play numbers-wise this season. And they've also given up 15 shorthanded goals. That's the second most in the FPHL, so we'll see if Athens feels that they should start playing a little Russian roulette here late on. Powell guarding that puck, sends it in around, rides that red line above the wall, separating it from the glass. Tomacek takes a push and shove from Maia. Gets it back from Colarusso at the line. Shot tipped away from Sales. Colarusso to Tomacek again, reached out for by Athens, one timed by Tortorella. Has the puck back on his tape. To his right is Zinchenko. Stutter step from the Ukrainian, and the shot finds a way in. First pro goal for Donovan Powell, and it becomes even more difficult for Athens. Donovan Powell is part of the screen there. And I wonder if it just came off of the rookie's body and past Sales. This is not good news for the Rock Lobsters. Croucher tries to wrap it around, falls to Greco at the line. Virgili with a hit on terrain. Pushing and shoving. Game becoming more physical as Athens is now down by 2. Here's a half break here. Paralat, though, a speedy skater. Nolan Dawson just falls to the ice. Again, just loose passing from Athens out of their own zone. Croucher. Athens in need of a lifeline. Icing against the Sentinels. The scoreline remains the same. The Rock Lobsters will go into Monroe next weekend needing to split the series to clinch the division. But you hope that the Rock Lobsters still have a response to formulate here with 11:20 left in the third. Liefers wins it, but it's snuffed out by Zinchenko. 2-on-1. Zinchenko, and the save by Sales. That might just keep Athens in the game. Liefers takes a knock by Bormanis. Johnson, forward at the blue line again. Rock Lobsters rolling with 4 forwards. Liefers with a backhanded effort, hopeful, but off the end boards. Liefers to Johnson. Just his second game back from injury. Sentinels executing very well in their own ice. There's a big hit off puck there against Neely. Nothing for interference. Sure, a couple more calls could have gone the Rock Lobsters' way, but that's not good enough excuse to be down this late on against the Indiana Sentinels team that has struggled. Actually, on a different look there, courtesy of Classic City Orthodontics, it looked pretty 50-50, just 3 bodies coming together, 2 for the Lobsters, 1 for the Sentinels. Indiana potentially already having the dagger in this game. They want to push it a little bit further into the heart of the Crustaceans. A great redirect right in front of the net, and Hippolyte Smith doesn't get anything on the rebound. Ford gives it up for Powell. The goal scorer to make it 4-2. His first as a professional, coming in his second pro game. Lowe rocks his man after the dump in. That's a different kind of the welcome to the FPHL moment for Powell. Croucher somehow still has that on the end of his stick. Bartuccio Pereira centers it. Ford down low, as is Jesse from the block. Lowell getting tangled up with Cunningham. Croucher frees it. Rips a shot off of Colarusso and over the frame. Nolan Dawson into the corner for Cunningham. Gets rocked by Johnson. Sentinels working it from the point. Left circle shot. Too much traffic in front of Sales. Game getting very chippy in the halfway point of the third period. Shinkarik through the legs. Maye. Bartuccio Pereira rims it around for Shinkarik. Virgili trickles in towards the near side corner. Maye to Shinkarik. Virgili out front on the centering pass from his captain. The Swede kicks it to himself. Athens still fighting here, but have they found their fight too little too late? Sentinels able to clear out their ice. Virgili on the sheet for a while. Great job there by Kolatarsi as he was coming right off the bench. Shinkarik to Johnson. Trying to thread the needle to Shinkarik. Glove down by Greco. Seen a lot of plays at the wall. Greco pushed away by Tomacek. .7:20 left. Here's Powell winning it back after scoring to make it 4-2. Crustacean Nation hasn't given up yet. Can they be the fuel to the Rock Lobsters' fire? Neely with a hip check. Johnson's been on the ice for a while. Gloved it down off the glass, but right back to Lease. Joe Mack in the neutral ice. Greco over the red line. Whistles it in. Good tenacity there from Ford on the forecheck. It's Greco again, chopped down by Ford at the net front. Now a backhander, Croucher trying the redirection too from Michael Greco. Not looking good for the Lobsters late. They are down 2 with 6:33 to go. Indiana 4, Athens 2.
Thank you for calling Thornton Brothers. How may we help you?
When the call comes in, our team moves fast. Because in our world, every second counts. Every delivery means protecting people, product, and places no shortcuts, no excuses. From warehouses before sunrise to late night drop-offs when the rest of the city sleeps, we're the steady hands behind the scenes. On the arena floor, in the back hallways, and down to the locker room supplies, we help keep Athens ready, stocked, supplied, and moving. The fans feel it, the players count on it, the community depends on it. Thornton Brothers, proud sponsor of the Athens Rock Lobsters.
There is life in Akins Ford Arena. But is it enough? Is it enough, or have Athens left it too late? Down 2 with 6:33. Offensive zone faceoff. We hope for a quick goal from this. Bartuccio Pereira. Nice little play from the wall. Good job there by Ford. Croucher took something right to the face there. Bormanis. He's on a hat trick, as is Ford. Both of them on the ice now. It's a great stop there in the offensive ice for the Sentinels by the official. Cross ice left circle effort from the outside hash marks. And out of the zone for Indiana, self-inflicted. Croucher to Ford. Unable to protect there against Cunningham. Chopped to the far side by Ford. Here's Cunningham again. Athens just lacking real crispness in their passing, and really across all three periods. Shinkarik trying to get in behind Colarusso. Jonas Lease chips it in deep into the Athens ice. Lowell. Athens able to beat the icing somehow. Here's Lowell again. Just gets wrestled to the ice, and Lowell has stayed down. Maye. Lowell just kind of coming to. And he's going back to the bench. No call on the play again. That's a very dangerous play. As you could kind of see almost that whiplash effect. Perlat. Perlat again. It's back out front. Puck loose. Johnson one-times it. Stopped by Peavy from a short range. 2-on-1. Sentinels to dust this game off. Greco with a big stop. Johnson can't get the shot off. Stick was lifted by Bormanis. Ford racing forward. Taken away by Ponovinov. Jesse Lowell still on his haunches. Athens has emptied the net here. There's a big boo after the whistle, and it's not just coming from the fans, it's coming from Michael Greco and Garrett Rutledge as well. A special message from our friends at Ghost Brands who bring you tonight Star Wars night.
This thing on? Perfect.
Matt Sales has been taken away from the crease. The extra attacker has not often been a friend for Athens this season. Execution hasn't been here for this Rock Lobsters team tonight. The Moccasins, we'll take a quick look, are up 4-1 against the Columbus River Dragons. If there is any silver lining to this, you need the same thing if the Moccasins win tonight, no matter what next weekend. If Monroe won tonight, you are going to need to at least split the series against the Snakes next weekend. Of course, there was a chance for Athens to clinch the division tonight, but right now both scorelines not in favor of that happening. Athens has to be extra careful, keep play flowing in the offensive ice. No netminder for Athens. Neely from the left circle, one time by Virgili. Dawson chooses to go a shorter distance than aim for the empty net. Lease from the half wall gets stopped there by Neely. Rock Lobsters just about doing enough to get away with out the empty net. How long will that last? Here's Shinkarik. Werber. Athens trying to clear it from the corner. Maye. Shinkarik. Good save by Werber. Werber's had a decent performance all game long, but he has been amazing in this third period. Timeout called by Garrett Rutledge. As he'll try to draw something up with the net empty. Extra attacker. Have to tip the cap to the Indiana Sentinels in the way that they've come in motivated here. There's a chance here as well to thank our tremendous game day production staff. They have given us an elite product on your screens all season long, and it's all because of the hard work of these people, both on cameras and in the booth as well. A big, big thank you to everyone involved and keeping us as great of a broadcast as we are. It has so little to do with me and so much to do with them. Time running out for the Lobsters. Even if they get this goal here, still a lot to do. Mack wins it off the wall. Shinkarik with a one-timer! There's the goal! Neely gets one back. And as as we said, there's still much more to do. But they empty the net and they get the goal through Neely, who planted himself, knowing that potentially the shot from Shinkarik was coming at some point. Shinkarik's slap shot has been the big equalizer this year. It's not an equalizer in this game, but Neely is able to force open the light at the end of the tunnel just a little bit. Sales, with now the face-off at center ice, will go back into the crease. Could Athens do it? We always say never count them out. We may have never counted them out as much as we did tonight. Shinkarik into the glove of Werber. Not a dumb move by Shinkarik at all, as that could get Sales back to the bench, empty the net once again, and give the Rock Lobsters an offensive zone draw. Leafers jousting for it. Shinkarik to the end boards. Ormanis sends it down just a whisker wide. Did not miss by much for the hat trick, the Latvian. If this pays off, though, for a Rock Lobster goal again here, you'll wonder if that was the right play for the Latvian, or did greed get in the way? Time will tell. Athens, a rare extra attacker goal on the season for them. Believe it's just the second time it's happened this year. The first coming in Baton Rouge. Face-off won by Leafers, but now Ford has to go all the way back. Carter Shinkarik, minute 45 in regulation. Ford rides the line with a pass. Virgili to Neely off the end board. Shinkarik at the half wall, blazes one. Glove saved by Werber again. The Sentinels are going to be able to make changes as well. Rutledge will keep the same 6 on the ice. Net still emptied of Sales. Mack wins it. Ford off the glass. Brought down by Neely to the front, and there it goes wide. What could have been, what could still be. Ford through traffic. Mack tries to center it from behind now. Ford stops it at the point, eases it up the wall. Virgili doing the same to Leafers in the corner. Neely through the trapezoid. Centers it, sticked away by Werber. Mack diving out for it. Kept in play by Athens. Virgili on the forecheck. Last minute of play. Ford off a stick of Lease. Virgili a part of the fight, as is Leafers. Leafers, it was a tight angle. A lot of sticks and bodies in the way, comes out to the neutral ice. Shinkarik impeded by Cunningham. Crucial seconds off the clock, courtesy of the forecheck by Cunningham. Chipped ahead by Mack. Centering pass in from behind. And it's sent down, and that will likely do it, but it might be an icing. And it is. 9.2 seconds. There is not much time left here for Athens to win a face-off and get the shot off. But they cannot give up. Their fans have not given up on them with 9 seconds to go in the home slate for the regular season. The best face-off man for the team, Joe Mack, at the left circle dot. Mack wins it. Shinkarik gets blocked. 4 through traffic, and it goes wide. Athens is going to get defeated by the Sentinels for the first time, and then Johnson makes a run at Cunningham right afterwards. Frustrations boiling over after the Lobsters were put in the pot by Indiana. Croucher there throwing punches, gets taken down from behind. The Lobsters lose their cool and lose their head a little bit after a frustrating night all around. It may not mean much in the grand scheme of things, and now Virgili and Hippolyte Smith. Oh, this is really getting bad. This is really, really getting bad. You get the frustration, you get it. But Athens needs everybody it can get in that crucial 2 games against the Moccasins. And you do not want to give the Department of Player Safety any reason to take any extra action. This has gotten really ugly. Everett Thompson just brandishing a stick there against Kyle Powell. And you could tell what it means for this Indiana team who come into the Classic City against all the odds and get a win. The officials doing everything they can to get Indiana off the ice. I know it's Star Wars night, but there was a dark side to this game here at the end. The Lobsters will salute their faithful. Who were ever so faithful tonight. Athens will have to clear their heads, and hopefully there is not any action taken against the roster for the extracurriculars in this game, as the Rock Lobsters now head into a crucial set of games this next weekend in Monroe. There will be just 1 point that separates the Lobsters and the Snakes if the scoreline holds between the Monroe Moccasins and the Columbus River Dragons. But Athens heads off tonight with a defeat against the Indiana Sentinels. Well, you don't like to see the game end that way, especially when the Rock Lobsters fought hard to get back in the game late on there. They probably looked the best with an empty net and extra attacker as they did all season long, but the Sentinels able to do enough, able to protect Werber enough, who was protecting himself quite a good bit in the game as well. Made some tremendous crucial saves in the third period, but it just wasn't enough of a complete performance from the Lobsters and didn't execute in front of Werber enough to be able to get the win tonight. And Athens, unfortunately, has to end their home slate with a sour taste in their mouth, but luckily for them, they will come back into this building for the first game of the playoffs. No matter what, they will host game 1 of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs here. But now we await to see, after results next weekend, make sure you tune in here on the ARL network. 2 games between the Monroe Moccasins and the Athens Rock Lobsters, and what is at stake, the top spot and the top seed in the Continental Division. The Rock Lobsters could have done themselves some favors tonight, but ultimately, with the Snakes leading big against the Columbus River Dragons, it looks like the spoils are going to remain the same. The same amount of stakes are going to be in play no matter what. If Monroe was meant to win tonight, then the Rock Lobsters were going to have to split against the Snakes next weekend. We hope you see you here on the broadcast for those 2 big games. And we hope you continue to cheer on the Crustaceans no matter where you watch from. But for all 5,700 of you that were watching in the building, all 300 plus of you who were watching on the broadcast, thank you so much for your support all season long as we wrap it up here at Akins Ford Arena for the regular season. And then we look ahead to the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Unfortunately, though, it does not end the way that the Rock Lobsters wanted. And they close out their home slate at the Akins Ford Arena with a 4-3 loss against the Indiana Sentinels. Time to shake it off, look ahead to the playoffs, but before that, 2 games against the Monroe Moccasins with the top spot in the Continental Division to play for.